saw this video pop up on my feed and I was like, technology peaked 20 years ago. I think I know exactly what this video is going to be, because I see like, old old tech or so, back in the early 2000s or so. Shit. Let's see. Let's take a look.
This video was brought to you by Squarespace. Ever wondered why modern technology looks so boring? I mean, compare it to the 2000s. With clear consoles, iconic cameras, computers and phones, things were a lot more exciting, and I can't help but...
Holy... Kids these days wouldn't get it. Oh my god, dude, I remember that. Holy shit, the fucking robot and the fucking dinosaur robot. Man. Damn, dude. I remember seeing these. I never owned one of these, but I remember seeing these though.
Think, what happens to experimental design? Seriously, what business did anyone have making a camera phone watch? Still, the question remains,
What the fuck?
Why did Mac go from this to this? What about Xbox? The answer surprised me, and it turns out it runs a lot deeper than just uninspired tech aesthetics. Before I got there though, I needed to look at some of the strangest trends, gadgets, and contraptions from the 2000s to figure out if things really were better. Naturally, this meant buying and trying some of them myself, which went about as well as you'd expect. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, the
When I
Spy
think of
Kids
cool tech,
movie.
the first things I think of are gadgets. Unconventional, over-engineered designs with little to no functional use. But from the
Bro, the Spy Kids movie. I remember that movie, to be honest.
90s all through the 2000s, people were obsessed with them. I've seen people call this the experimental era, a time when companies legitimately tried to make the kind of stuff you'd see in Spy Kids.
Dude, that shit is so cool though back then. Dude, back then when you see like the most craziest like experimental tech ever, you see like the most wackiest shit ever. Like you'll even sometimes you'll even see it to buy it and whatnot. Man, dude. Ah, those were the times, man. Those were the times.
Start with the more logical examples, but gradually get more bizarre as we dive deeper. Remember that episode of The Office when Jim and Pam communicate via the little Bluetooth earpiece?
Yeah!
Well, those were actually a pretty huge deal at the time. Popping one in immediately made you look like you were doing some seriously important shit. Being the 2000s though, Bluetooth devices were...
Fucking, oh my god, dude, this shit was so cool. Just like I remember a long time ago or so that like somebody was using like a Bluetooth, like they were using like their dad's Bluetooth thing, and then they were like, look, Nyaru, I'm pretending to be a secret agent or so, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. Oh my god, did I remember he put on a fucking suit and everything. He's like, yeah, I'm putting on some shades and shit. It's like, yeah, I work for the government now. And I was just like, oh, shut the fuck up. Those were the good times. Those were the good times.
Nearly as compact, and you were more likely to be walking around looking like the bald guy from Empire Strikes Back. They did look futuristic though, with many using
That's so
the same
true.
look as phones and consoles.
Yo,
And
what the fuck is that? Whoa, what is this? What is this down here? What is this? This looks nice. I would wear this, whatever this is down here. Whatever piece of fashion that is. Bro, the fucking, oh my god, the silver fucking slim PlayStation. Oh my god, I've never seen this Nokia phone ever, but man, I remember this one though. Oh, dude. Oh man, dude, the nostalgia is hitting so hard. Oh my god, the fucking CD player. Oh my god, the old fucking the fucking old fat DS one. Oh my lord, dude. Oh wow, dude.
at the very least, they were somewhat functional, because this thing wasn't. The Telson TWC is perhaps my favorite product from the experimental tech era.
What? That looks so cool, but it's so
300
stupid though.
Ultimately, it was a jack of like 3 trades and a master of none, and it didn't really take off. Moving on, does anyone remember Segways? They were everywhere for a couple years, and then suddenly they just disappeared. I don't know if these really count.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I used to see that all the time. And then now they're like, now what we have now is like scooters. We have no, we have like bikes. That's what we have. We have like bicycles. Yeah. We have like bicycles that you can like you can kind of like basically rent or so, whatnot, and you can just have them, you know, and then you can just go around or so and then come back.
gadgets,
got, like, little
but they are
stations
a
or so
great
for them.
example of cool-looking 2000s tech that didn't live up
I remember
to
the
hype.
Segway.
To be fair, when you stripped back the goofy product placement and media, the core idea was really sound. Personal electric vehicles are quite popular today. There's those
Holy shit. The hover, or what is that? The hover, is that really called a hoverboard or a hover track or whatever? Okay. Segway, I remember. I don't remember the 9-bot. I don't remember the solo wheel. I remember the one wheel. The Z board? I don't think I know what the Z board is, but I think I do what it is. But I'm not too sure.
bikes you can rent in the city, for instance.
Yeah.
And even those electric scooters.
I've seen
However,
those.
the problem
Yeah, I've
with
seen those as
Segways
well.
was simple. They were way too expensive, and the average person didn't really need one. Imagine
I
trying to
see.
take it to work. Where do you store it? It's too big to be carried around or folded up. Of course, you could always just leave it outside and hope someone steals it, but come on, no one's taking that shit. Now, I can't not talk about gaming here, because the industry was a major offender when it came
What
to
the fuck?
strange devices and peripherals.
Oh my, the Donkey Kong fucking, oh my lord, dude. Those are the Donkey Kong fucking, like, for what game was it for? I forgot what game it was, but yeah, the DK fucking drums, and then the fucking, like, the cheap knockoff fucking video game controller that you like plug it into the TV. Oh my lord, dude. Everybody knows Guitar Hero, but man, the other two though, the other two fucking on here. Oh lord, oh my god, nostalgia. Oh god, I'm getting so much nostalgia.
You don't really see this kind of stuff anymore. Most consoles and games only use the bog standard controller and hardware, but not too long ago,
That
things were
SpongeBob
quite
looks
different.
suspicious.
Still,
Nah,
for
man.
every
Nah, man. You never had a good childhood if you never played one of those.
Guitar Hero guitar, Donkey Kong bongos,
Yeah.
Wii wheel, and balance
Oh
board,
my
there
God.
was an equally
Yep.
ridiculous
Yep.
failure. The Tony Hawk ride board, the Kinect.
Oh my god. Oh my fuck, man. Dude, I love this video so much right now. Holy shit, dude. I'm going down through memory lanes. Holy shit, a floodgate is opening right now.
2000's fascination with motion controls and revolutionizing player game interaction created way too many of these, and they quickly got old. They also just took up a bunch of space, and there literally wasn't room for any more in the market.
True.
Truthfully though, it's easy for me to sit here on my computer and poke fun at gimmicky products from the 2000s. To even the playing field, I decided to actually order and test some.
Ooh.
Will they arrive? Will they work? And will they suck? Well, whenever Australia Post gets here, we'll find out.
Oh, Australia, I see.
Gadgets aren't everything though, and conventional tech like
Bro, that Apple computer, the design of that Apple computer right there was so peak. I remember using that fucking Apple computer. I was like, holy shit, this shit looks so cool. I remember, dude. Holy crap, man. Those were the days. Those were the fucking days.
computers also shared aesthetics that you'd struggle to find today. In fact, some of the very companies praised for slim, minimalist devices now were once pushing the envelope with bold, radical designs in the 2000s.
Dude, oh my god, holy, oh dude, that fucking mouse, oh my god, bro, the color, dude, the color aesthetic during those times or so were so peaked compared to how it is now. Everything's like slim, everything's like black or silver or gray or whatever, you know. Man, dude, this shit was the shit, man. Holy cow, dude. I think I had, yeah, we also had that if I remember correctly, is that the I think if I remember correctly, that thing on the left right here, this little shebang bang thing over here, this thing right here, this is supposed to be the this is supposed to be a like a grill or so. You put the buns, I think you put the buns on top, and then you put the grill, the meat grill at the bottom or so. Dude, oh man, oh my god, oh my god.
Even stranger, one of them might be the only reason that you can buy an iPhone today. Hear me out. In 1997, Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy. The Macintosh was growing outdated, Windows was cheaper and more accessible, and Apple had spread themselves thin, being too slow to adapt and compete. Another key absence was one of its founders, visionary Steve Jobs. Apple had ridden the hype generated by the innovative Macintosh for too long. Whatever the case, they were looking for a lifeline. And it came from perhaps the last place you'd expect. Microsoft invested $150 million to keep Apple above water.
Whoa.
It was a generous move, but one motivated by their own strategic and financial
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that,
goals.
actually,
The fact
to be
remains,
honest.
though, Apple needed to innovate and fast, and there was one man for the Steve job. Steve returns to Apple as an advisor, but is quickly appointed interim CEO. Things begin to change. He cuts off smaller projects like the Newton, places the focus back on computers, and starts to develop one, the iMac G3. This thing broke all the rules. It wasn't a big beige cube. It wasn't modular. Instead, it had a translucent, rounded shell that housed...
Oh man, these colors, dude, these colors were so good, man, dude. Man, they need to bring back this color. They need to bring back this color, dude. This color was so peak.
Of its components. Despite this unorthodox appearance, it was an immediate success. With colorways like tangerine, lime, blueberry, ruby, and grape, the iMac G3 felt friendly and fresh. Steve Jobs had successfully sold simplicity again. It stood out in a sea of chunky, intimidating cubes. Importantly, it also gave Apple enough money to...
I'll be honest with you, if you owned one of these computers, you were basically like rich, you know? You're like, damn, you were like the cool ass fucking kid or so that had this futuristic tech or so, you know?
Reinvest in their next line of products, which shared these very same design principles.
Oh
the
my...
iBook, the Power Mac G3
dude.
and G4. Ultimately, this momentum
man,
saved
dude.
the company,
Oh,
funding
man,
the development of several
dude.
products that you know and use today. So, if this device was so revolutionary, why do Apple's computers look the exact opposite today? We'll come back to that.
Thank you for the follow.
The story
Welcome,
of Apple
welcome.
is well known. The philosophy behind these older designs is far from an industry
I've never seen that
secret.
one, actually.
But what if I could give you a real peek behind the curtain? A glimpse into the behind the scenes of one of the most innovative
Oh my, oh fuck, what is it? What is the name of that phone right here? This one right here. This is a Razor phone, right? Dude, oh my fucking God, man. Dude, I remember this shit, dude. This shit was peak, dude. This shit was peak as fuck, dude. I've never seen this one. I think I've seen this one time. But I've seen this one a lot, though. This one specifically, dude, man.
tech companies in the 2000s.
Fuck,
Well,
man.
thanks to the hard work of researchers at the Aalto University, I can. The Nokia Design Archive is a comprehensive website covering decades of their products, both the ingenious and the insane.
What
Luckily
the
for
hell?
us, there's an entire category dedicated to Y2K aesthetics. In their words, early Nokia products came from an era where space-age silver,
Yeah, you were a cool
transparent,
kid if you had that
iridescent
Razor
materials
flip
and
phone,
amorphous
side
shapes were
flip phone
design
thing.
staples.
Oh yeah,
Furthermore, we have
100%.
access to hundreds of visual examples, everything from real-life products to the concepts that never made it onto shelves. Have a look at some of these sketches. This one looks like the Xbox 720. I think this is a phone. You can really get a sense
Whoa,
of
wait, what the fuck was that? Wait, is it supposed to be the Xbox? What the hell?
like the Xbox 720.
Oh.
I think this is
Whoa, wait. So you can wait. You can play. You can hear music, and it would play like a video. Like you can play music videos on the go or so, like that. And it has like speakers and everything. And I assume here is you could put a CD here, right? You can put like a CD or something here. Man, dude, yeah, that's crazy, dude.
a phone. You can really get a sense of their ambition. They weren't afraid to, for lack of a better word, waste resources on fantastical and futuristic ideas. I'd argue the most well-known example of this is the Nokia Morph, a concept phone that would use nanotechnology to, well, morph between a bracelet and a tablet. They even put together a video demonstrating its possible functionality. Back to the design archive, a lot of their more outrageous devices made it past the sketching phase and became physical.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the Ben 10 clock, you know?
models. The Nokia 8580 was a digital pocket watch originally made for the movie Minority Report. This, surprisingly, ended up becoming a real product, and you can hunt them down occasionally today. The same cannot be said for the visor concept, which was imagined around 2 decades before the Apple Vision.
What
In
the
a
hell?
presentation, they went over some of its proposed features. It wasn't meant to be a separate display. Instead, it aimed to enhance our viewing environment. While they focused on its practical value in gaming and office work,
What
they
the
also
fuck?
highlighted its potential to assist people with severe hearing and visual impairments. Nokia weren't the only ones with a cool vision though. Gaze upon the beauty that is Microsoft's Xbox prototype.
Dude, I fucking remember this too as well. Holy shit, dude. Look at that thing. Man. Imagine if we would have still had like Xbox consoles, but like with the letter X in it. Dude.
A huge chrome X with a boomerang-shaped controller. It really captures the brand's spirit in the 2000s.
That's crazy.
After all, if you're putting out cutting-edge technology, why not make it look like cutting-edge technology? All I'm gonna say is they really missed an opportunity here when making the
Yeah, that shit
Series
looks
X.
boring as fuck,
Now,
to be
yes,
honest.
most of what I'm talking about here was unrealistic, but it was a different era for technology. You don't see
True.
companies testing out crazy designs like this anymore. I wonder how much of it is because we've already
Man, you guys missed out so much, man. I swear to God, you guys missed out so damn much. Dude, some of those designs were probably like one of the best designs. Like some of them were really fucking cool to see, you know?
peaked in terms of functionality. Like, maybe there's no room to experiment with phones anymore because
I
after
remember
years of
that. Holy
optimization and
shit, dude.
cost-cutting, this
Oh
has
my
emerged
God,
as the
man.
most logical design. It would explain why Apple hasn't changed anything but the number of cameras for the last 10 years. Still, these differences are so pronounced that there has
Oh,
to be more to the
dude.
story.
The
And there was.
Dreamcast.
But first,
Holy
it
shit,
sounded
dude.
like I had some mail. Cool, so we did get some items, which is awesome. That's great that they actually showed up. What's in these parcels exactly, we're gonna find out. I also have one for you. A lot of places on the internet, possible
Oh, wow,
fitness library
wow, that's
for
crazy.
10%
Wow.
off your first website
Anyways.
or domain. Copy of Pokemon Silver. Look,
Holy
I'm gonna put this to the
shit,
side because
dude.
clearly this is for something later in the video. Alright, next up we have this one, which is a bit chunkier. Now,
Is it game color?
genuinely
You got a game color or something like that?
don't know which what stuff is in which box, so we're gonna find out as we go. I think I know what's in this one though. Nicely packaged. Has an interesting odor to it. Floral. If you know what I mean, it smells floral. Kind of got a floral scent to it. Oh my god. The scent is getting stronger the closer I get to the core. So this model specifically, the seller told me it is a limited edition battle damage
my.
Gucci. So it doesn't have its ear, it doesn't have its tail either. This was exclusive to Northern China.
Dude, what the fuck? Dude, I remember seeing this, dude. Holy shit. It's supposed to like move around. It's supposed to be like a dog, basically, you know?
Couldn't get it anywhere else. It also includes the bone, which is excellent. This was the go-to toy in the 2000s. Anyone else remember circling stuff at the back of catalogs to decide what you wanted for Christmas and your birthday? Well, if you weren't circling this, you were doing something wrong. Anyway, let's check it out. What I'm most interested to see is if the nubs move.
Does it
as
actually
well as
work?
the tail.
That'd be crazy if it actually does,
Plug this
actually.
in. We're operational.
What
Now,
the fuck?
The bone. Okay. The bone feature. The bone feature. Shut the fuck up! Okay, the bone feature is what I'm most. Okay, the bone feature is what I. The bone feature is. Fuck! Shut the fuck! Okay, this thing. I have to whisper because it's detecting everything I say. The first thing we're gonna do is test the bone feature. Let's see if it actually eats it. Okay, so he can feed indefinitely. Oh! He's dancing?
Dude, I remember this.
Oh shit!
Dude, I remember this
Top
shit,
comment
man.
decides the method by which I will destroy this creature.
No,
Okay, so
dude, you should
overall-
not destroy stuff like this. You should preserve these things, dude. You hardly see most of these anymore, bro. Like, honestly.
Review. Was this cracked up to be, was this everything I expected when I was a kid? Would I have wanted this? No. The other thing is, it doesn't actually appear to have
Man, shut up, bro. You don't know the good life back then, bro. Shaking my head right now.
An off button on the case of it. I guess you just slap in the battery and just let it do its thing perpetually until the end of time. I'm actually starting to suspect that this wasn't a limited edition model. I think someone just sat on this thing 300 times in 2005. And this is the outcome. So guys, I want to hear some horror stories in the comments. How many times have you ordered something off eBay? What's the most fucked up packaging you've ever, what's the worst condition you've ever received something on?
He has to be young because he doesn't get it, you know?
Now, of course, this is a Game Boy Color.
Damn.
This specific model was a limited edition promotion or tie-in with
I remember.
Toys R Us. But the real reason I got this
Dude, that
was,
fucking
of course,
color is really
see-through
nice.
electronics. I always talk about them in my videos, and I actually wanted to get a probably authentic one from the time period to review and look at. But the main question here is, do I think this see-through trend of technology looked good? Does it work? Specifically with gaming devices.
It does look good.
Yeah, it does. You can see right through to the batteries, all the internal components, the speakers right there.
Base, why will you want that over Furbies? Okay, buddy.
It looks futuristic, it looks cool. This is what a console, especially a handheld, should look like. The design itself is exciting and fun to look at. This thing grabs your attention before you even plug in a game, and there's nothing wrong with that in my opinion.
Damn, that shit looks
in my
so
books,
nice,
this is
I'm not
a
gonna
definite
lie.
win. See-through technology is sick, and I wish they would bring it back. Now, this last product is a bit of an oddball.
What is it?
Now we're in too deep. We're in 4 layers deep, and we can see this does look like something out of Spy Kids. Oh, I know you guys are excited for this one. This is the Hasbro Video Now Color. You pop it open, and inside is a little disc. Interesting. Now, for the more observant among you, you might have also noticed,
No
unlike
C
me,
button trash
this
console.
disc is rather small. In fact, let's pull out one of the other discs that came with this. The Land Before Time, the Time of the Great. What you might notice is this is a traditional DVD and is significantly larger. That's right, this product doesn't work with traditionally sized DVDs. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of mini DVDs, but I do have the one that it came with. So let's plug it in and see what mysteries it contains. As you can see, this is nothing more than just a demo video for the product itself. Look, I think the core idea here is fantastic. It's super portable. It appears to have speakers. I'm guessing if there was an actual DVD, it would have some sort of sound function coming out of there. I'm not 100% sure, but I do like this, generally speaking. The only issue is it isn't compatible with standard DVDs. I originally got the inspiration to make this video when I came across this reel in my feed. It contrasts a bunch of early 2000s and 90s tech with a cleanly arranged selection of modern products. Straight away you'll notice several key differences, specifically concerning colour, shape and variety. The modern tech looks homogeneous, as if it's been made and designed by one person. Nothing is trying to stand out, and most are dominated by a single component: the screen. You might point to the fact that the first image predominantly features gaming devices, which are usually more expressive, but as we've seen, they've had a similar transformation. So what's going on here? Why is everything
Can it play Netflix or Spotify?
Firstly,
okay,
I
buddy.
think this issue goes a lot deeper than design. I want you to try think about the last piece of new technology that you were genuinely excited for. Like in the same way you were for when phones got touchscreen for the first time.
Last time I was excited for? PS4. That was like the last technology that I was mostly interested in.
Or the release of 7th gen consoles. I'm willing to bet that it was a fair while ago. AI has been the biggest jump forward in recent years, and it hasn't exactly been exciting for a lot of people. Additionally, it's generally true that the jumps in hardware between devices have slowed down. Look at the leap from the PS1 to the PS2, the iPod to the iPod Touch.
Damn.
These were groundbreaking changes, but when examining these companies today, you see a stagnation in features and functionality. For the most part, brands found what worked and stuck with it. I believe the same things happened with design. Apple, for example, knows that the most important part of a handheld device is the screen. And so, as touchscreen technology advanced, it really just allowed them to eliminate anything that took up screen real estate. The home button, the black bars on the top and bottom. What works here is what's inside the screen. Apple's job is to simply make it as easy as possible for us to get to it. In this framework, design flair and experimental aesthetics become pointless distractions. It's why you'd struggle to find anyone in the industry today crafting up radical designs like Nokia in the
That's probably the reason why I picked up an ROG phone, because it just looked different, you know? It just looked different compared to like all the boring square, like fucking one color fucking tone and shit, you know? That's probably the reason why I picked it up, because I thought it was like, wow, this is cool. I like how it looks and everything.
2000s. The idea of futurism plays into this well, which I talk about in more detail here. In a nutshell, the narrative around new technology back then was one of optimism and excitement. People were expecting massive, futuristic leaps forward, and companies tried to meet them halfway by making their products at least look the part. By the mid-2010s though, the novelty had worn off and another movement began to take the reins. Minimalism. Houses changed, user interfaces changed, and so did the things they were inside. Professionalism, organization, and productivity became synonymous with clean, minimalist workspaces. The Apples and Microsofts of the world embraced this philosophy, becoming obsessed with the removal of clutter. You know,
I'm not a huge fan of minimalism, to be honest.
Kind of fun design quirk that could prevent you from getting stuff done at 100% of the time. The culmination of all of this is what I like to call sliminalism. Products were no longer judged as much for their new features and innovation, but rather for how many millimeters they could shave off each year. For Macs, this spelled goodbye to disk drives and various ports, and hello to external adapters and terrible keyboards. In 2015, this came to a boiling point with their butterfly keys. If you didn't use these, count yourself lucky. They sucked. My keyboard was always really sticky anyway, but that was for other reasons. Their thin butterfly mechanism made everything worse, and it quickly became one of the company's most catastrophic failures. Anyway, this all aligned with the changing philosophy behind technology. Function over form. No new devices stood out, and that was completely intentional. To give them credit, it does make sense in the context of workstations. There's nothing inherently wrong with streamlining your workflow, and some people do enjoy a more minimalist setup. But the products just don't look as cool. I liked when companies were making goofy stuff. For me, a design is half the fun when it comes to new devices. If Apple, I don't know, made their new iPhone translucent or dropped a special edition like this, I'd get it. Also, just on a practical level, I don't get the obsession with making stuff thinner. I already mentioned the butterfly keys with the Macs, but I feel like there's so many other drawbacks that people rarely mention. It makes devices flimsier, the batteries have to be smaller, and there's less room for fans and cooling. Recently, I heard whispers from the East saying the new iPhone 17 Air is going to be like 6mm thin. Look, I get it, maybe you fit another booster pack in your pocket or something, but I just don't give a fuck. Also, 6mm isn't even that small, it's actually well above average, so chill out. Was technology cooler in the 2000s?
Yes.
Absolutely, but was it better? At face value, of course not. We can do stuff today that we used to only dream of. Everything is more powerful. Video games look incredible. Still, it's not that the tech got worse, it's that the sense of possibility disappeared. Design is important, and this pervasive minimalist aesthetic contributes to the feeling that things have plateaued. The relentless pursuit of optimization, blending in, and thinness has neglected a massive part of what made technology cool to begin with. Experimentation. Revolutionary products like the iMac G3 didn't come from playing it safe, but that's all we see anyone doing today. It makes me wonder, what are we missing out on? Is it worth funding wild concepts like Nokia did in the 2000s? Or maybe this is it. Perhaps we've already peaked.
That was a cool video. What an actual cool video. God damn, dude. Oh, man. Such a fucking nostalgia trip, dude. Holy shit, that's good. That shit's good. I like it. That shit was awesome. Shut the fuck up. We need the aestheticness. They need to bring that shit back, to be honest. They really should. Man, dude, so boring to see some of these goddamn boring ass technology designs, you know? That's why I'm like, you know, when I see something like really cool or funky designs or something, I'm always kind of like, whoa, that's cool, you know? But you know, Some of the boring designs, like the phones and everything, are just kind of like, you know, it's kind of like whatever. The most creative aesthetic item created is the LG Wing Phone. LG Wing Phone? Let me see. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah. I remember seeing this. This is really cool. It's cool. Nah, just make the modern phone to a piece of glass. Okay, buddy. That's cool. We need old shit. We need some of the old aestheticness to come back. Those were the good times. Those were definitely the good times.